This video is sponsored by Train World, America's discount model train store since 1968.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy from the DIY and Digital, and today we're talking about the difference between cheap and expensive rolling stock. Welcome back everybody. First of all, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any updates like this video. So today I am talking about something that I know is a pain point for a lot of you out there, and that is cost. And I want to talk about the different prices of various types of rolling stock. And I'm not talking about the difference between a box car and a hopper car. I'm talking about different manufacturing levels and really looking at why certain things cost more. And I've got 5 different pieces of rolling stock that I consider different levels of the quality of rolling stock. I've got all the way down to one you can buy for about $9 online, brand new, all the way up to one that you can buy in a set of 5 for $100 online, and they're normally about 25 to 30 individually. So let's go ahead and hop into taking a look at these. I'm going to bring in my close-up camera and we're going to take a look. All right, so I have my close-up camera right here so we can really inspect what we have here. So first of all, let me explain what we have here. First off, at the low end, I have a 50-foot-ish reefer car from, I'd say, 1940s, 50s, 60s, anywhere that era, from Model Power. Next, we have another 50-foot reefer car, so we can actually compare those apples to apples, from a Bachmann N-Scale starter set. Next, we have another Bachmann car here. This is a covered hopper, cylindrical hopper, pellet hopper, whatever you want to call it, but this is one of their individually sold ones, and it is, I think they at least used to call them Silver Series. I can't remember exactly, but that's what that is. Next, we have an Atlas, one of their high-end ones, of a open hopper car, and then we have a Broadway Limited 2-3 bay hopper car. So we're going to take a look at all of these and just kind of see what you get when you're looking at them. So let's start off at the low end, taking a look at the Model Power reefer car. So this is our Model Power reefer car. First of all, what you can see is we have a good amount of stamped detail, and the first thing that I noticed right off the bat is every detail is molded to be part of one piece. And you can see that the only thing that's really a separate piece is the top right here, and it looks to be connected by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, and they are not something that is, see if I can get a shot of them, you can see them right there. They're not something that is more prototypical. And the other thing that you may see, if I can get it to show up, is it has a sheen to it, and that's just part of the cheaper finish. Now that's something that you can easily remove, but you can just see that this is really meant to be just a couple of pieces. Let's go ahead and flip it over and take a look at what we have here. So this is something that is a little interesting to me. So it does have metal springs for its knuckle couplers, but the knuckle couplers are just solid pieces. They don't have any moving parts. And they also have these tension springs right here. These tension pieces right here are what hold they're little clips. They're what hold the trucks on, and the wheels are plastic, cheap plastic, and all of the detail underneath the base is molded in as well. Now, one good thing I can actually say about this is this car has some weight to it, and you can see it's got actually some really big weights in there. 25 FE7 is what it says on there. But you can just see it's 2 pieces, and you can actually see where the top pieces mount right there. So this is an N-Scale Model Power 50-foot, I say that loosely, reefer car that's really more along the toy train line. You could definitely detail it up to make it look nice with some paint and stuff, but this is really on the low end. Like I said, several places online I've looked, you can pick them up for about under $10 and then add some shipping in. So that is the low end of the model car spectrum. All right, so now I want to bring in the next level up, which is a Bachmann starter set car. And I'm going to keep the Model Power one on here for a second, just so you can see a comparison of something that's a bit more to scale. So this is a Bachmann reefer car. It is from a starter set. It's got a lot of the same characteristics as in terms of manufacturing, in terms of the build and how many pieces it makes, but you can just really see the size difference right there, that this is not to scale. This is definitely way closer to scale, if not on scale. Now let's go ahead and we'll take the Model Power one away and let's take a look at this one. Now, some interesting things you'll see is they actually use two different colors of paint for the detailing. So there's actually 3 total colors of paint, which shows a bit more manufacturing. You can see that this is just stamped on right there with a precision machine, which nothing wrong with that. But it's not an actual moving door, even though it does have the slides and everything. It's just a stamped on paint, and it does have the same thing on the other side. Has the same connections for the roof pieces. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces right there for the connections. The big thing that I notice is that it doesn't have the shine, the cheap look that the Model Power car has. And if we go over here, you can still see it's all molded, but you have this flat paint color. And you do have some pieces that are either very well molded or attached separately, and we're going to find that out here in a second. But let's go ahead and flip her over. You get a lot of the same story as you did with the Model Power one on the starter set ones. Again, these are starter sets. These are meant to get you into the hobby. You have knuckle couplers that are solid, pieces of plastic, no moving parts. But the big upgrade you see here is the metal wheels. So these are definitely an upgrade over the plastic wheels, especially those cheap plastic wheels. These are definitely going to run better than those. They do run better, I can tell you that. And these are also screwed in, so it's really easy to swap out for a nicer set of trucks. Details all molded in. Let's see if we can get the top off right here. Okay, let's look inside here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mount points for the top roof detail, and you can see a little bit of you got the model number right in there. But overall, it's got a lot more detail to it. Has a few more little pieces to it, and if we take a look at the base, it does have a weight, but that's a very, very light weight. That is not much at all, and it's actually probably one of the reasons that I get some derailing. So I probably need to I could probably just put a couple of dimes or something in there, or just some scrap solid piece of metal in there and glue it in, and that would probably set it up. But this car is on the cheaper side, but it's also easily upgradable, and because it has a solid paint job on it, it's very easy to detail. So that is a Bachmann starter set car. It's a starter set reefer. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next level. All right, so now we're at our next level, and it is another Bachmann car, but it is their step up, you buy them individually car. Now, this is about as nice as you're going to get with Bachmann in terms of their standard rolling stock. One thing that's about Bachmann versus other thing is they just make rolling stock for kind of almost at random. They don't have sets of cars like some of the other manufacturers do, but when you look at this level, it is some solid quality. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so this is a covered hopper, and it's a 4-bay hopper. And what we see right off the bat is way more detail. We've got all of these tiny little stamped decals on there, and that is just, I mean, those are some itty bitty words, and you can actually, if you look at them close enough, you can read those words. So those are just fantastic. Let's take a look at the top. We do have, these are molded plastic, but this right here is a separate piece, and it appears to be attached in a more prototypical way. It's using some prototypical supports right there. So that is good, and that's a completely separate piece. Let's take a look at the side right here. Now this is where you really start to see why it costs a little bit more money. Putting this little part extra is going to cost you more money because you're probably going to either have another machine or another person to be able to put that little piece on, depending on what your factory is like. So you're going to have something to drill the hole, and you're going to have something to place the piece. So that is where another little section of money goes. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Same color paint, but I would almost expect that with a hopper car versus a box car or something like that. And this is where you really start to see where you're going to get more effort. The first time we have mechanical knuckle couplers, and these actually work, and they have springs on them. And these are, I do believe they are body mount. Yes, they are body mount couplers. So that is another upgrade. And you can see the trucks have metal wheels, and they also have a push pin that holds in the truck to the body. Let's see if we can get this. See if we can get this off here. I'm not sure. I've never actually taken this car apart. Oh, there we go. That was easy. So let's see here. Definitely some injection molding goes all the way down there. That's where they save a little bit of money by doing as least plastic as possible. You can see the other ends for the screws of the trucks, and you can also see the place for the pin. You can see that we have a pretty substantial weight. It's not a really heavy one. You can't really feel it in the car, but pretty substantial weight right there. Definitely adds to the smooth running of this. Now let's take a look at the shell. So you can see right off the bat, you can see where the mounting points are for the top right here, and that is where you're going to get some extra quality. Let's see here. Sometimes they have a pin that goes or a drill press that goes all the way through with some of these, and sometimes it's just glued on. It looks like, if I can get a shot down there, which I don't think I can, there is no other end of the brake wheel. So you can see right there. So that's a piece that's probably glued on or glued into a little dimple or impression right there. But overall, definite good quality. It flexes a little bit, but it's good like that. So when you get into the mid-tier Bachmann stuff is when you're really being able to get stuff that's going to last you a long time, especially if you can find stuff that's going to work well on your railroad. So that's the Bachmann. I'm calling them Silver Series. I can't remember exactly what they are. This is what they used to be called. That's the kind that they sell individually versus in the set. You can see you're starting to get some quality for the little bit of more amount of money that you're paying. Now we're going to be getting into the mid to high tier, and what I have here is I have an Atlas hopper car, and we're going to be taking a look at this really quick. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and before we even begin, I'm just going to pop out the load so that we can take a look. So first of all, you get a lot of detail, just like with the previous car. If you look closely, you do have visible rivets, which I don't know if those are going to come up on the video, and you have some really, really nice stamped detail. That is stamped. I'm scraping it pretty good, and it's not coming off, and plus you can see it's painted up a little bit on the lip, like it would be in the real world. So you get a lot of good detail. You've got your brake wheel right here, and again, solidly molded. And then you have these very, very nice couplers, mechanical couplers. I actually like these couplers a lot more than your typical ones. Big thing here is you don't have as much detail on the bottom, but you still have really good detail on the sides. I don't like how they have the Atlas and China right there, pretty prevalent. But you get plastic wheels, which these are a lot nicer plastic wheels, and they do run extremely well. And then you have the plastic push pins to hold those in. So you're getting a lot more quality, and you're going to get a lot more consistency. The big thing with these is you're going to be able to get cars that are sequentially numbered. You're going to be able to buy different numbered cars, and that's a big thing, especially if you're looking to run more prototype stuff, especially if you're switching by the car number. And being able to manufacture these and then paint them in different schemes and different numbers, that's going to add some cost to your manufacturing. So that's why these are typically getting to be in the more expensive side. I'm not going to say that these are the most expensive, and you can see if we just look in here, this is the little weight. It's not much of a weight. You could definitely just fill in some junk in there underneath the load, or you could add some weight to the load. So that's the little weight right there, and we'll put the load back in there just so you can see. But that is an Atlas N-Scale hopper car, and you can really see that we're starting to get some quality, and there are some other reasons for the manufacturing cost. All right, so now we're going to go to our highest end, which is a Broadway Limited hopper car. These come in a set typically, and I can actually show you, so because I have the set. So this is the Broadway Limited hopper car, and these come in a set. These are actually some of the lower end cars of Broadway Limited, but Broadway Limited has some quality. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these two side by side. Now this is one thing that adds cost for manufacturing. You can see we have 146610, and then we have 146616. So what we're doing there is we have this set, so you'll be able to switch them, route them, and it looks more prototypical to have differently numbered cars. So let's go ahead and pull that one back out of the way. It does come with a load. I'll just show you guys. So it comes with a load for it. So but we're going to take that back out. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the reasons for why this one costs as much as it does. First of all, we can see that there are a lot of details. We have stamped details on the sides in addition to the main stamp details. We also have multiple colors, which you've seen before, but we have multiple stamp details in very high detail. So we have yellow and white high detail stamp colors. We also have just a lot more details, and this is a car that I would be totally okay with running open and not worrying about anything, and that's because the weight is hidden right here within the car. It's not completely visible like the Atlas car, and this car also has some heft to it, so it's going to run smoother. Let's go ahead and flip it over. And you can really see here, these are some very, very nice premium knuckle couplers. One thing I really like when you compare it to the Atlas, I'll bring that back in, you can see that they did not take the time to paint this dark. You can see that they take this time and they paint this into a dark color. And you can also, if I get some crud from my desk off of there, you can see that it's metal wheels versus plastic wheels. And I'll go ahead and put the Atlas car back. And then we have just a lot of detail on the bottom. We have these little doors. They're not functioning, but we have the doors that open to let the load out. So a lot of detail, plus you're manufacturing 6 different versions of this. So that is really where the cost of these higher tier cars comes from. It's the manufacturing the different types. That takes a lot of machinery to do it on an industrial scale. And it's just got a bunch of little things like securing the weight. You can see it even has rivet detail right here along the spine. And you can, if you look really, really hard, you can see where it says Broadway Limited. And then it says made in China, but that's really, really, really hard to see versus if you pull in the Atlas car, you can just straight up see it says Atlas China. So it's kind of, I am totally fine running any of these. I own all of these. This one's kind of if I was having someone over, I'm not running it. But they look fine. And what it really comes down to is, what are you having fun and what do you want to spend money on your model railroad on? If you want to save money on rolling stock and buy it used or buy some stuff that's not the creme de la creme and spend money on locomotives, or if you want to spend money on scenery, that's what you got to do. But this is just the reason behind looking at all of these different cars and why they cost different prices. It really comes down to how much detail is put into them and what it takes to manufacture them. And the big thing is when you get up into the higher tiers, the detail is going to be there, but it's just the manufacturing, like when you're doing sets, when you're doing different numbers, when you're doing different runs. That's where it is. It's the little things, like it's going to cost in materials nothing to paint the brake hose on the Broadway Limited car, but to have that step in there is going to cost a lot of money. So this is really the difference between these types of cars, and I just wanted to share that with you guys, because one thing that I really see a lot is a lot of griping about prices. And the bottom line is I have lived through what I would consider the second renaissance of model railroading, where we went from nothing but having cars like this and maybe something a little nicer at a certain price point to these just super duper high-end cars. And the bottom line is I get it. And I also get where you don't like expensive cars. I mean, I don't like to spend money either, but I understand why they're more expensive. And because of that, I am more willing to pay and buy them, because the bottom line is that this is one of my best running cars. This never derails. This never does anything bad. This one I have had a lot of headaches with. It looks nice, it looks great, but I've had a lot of headaches with it. So that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear what you guys think about your rolling stock. I want to hear what some of your favorite brands are. You can leave that in the comments below. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any updates like this video. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Special thank you to my patrons. Thank you guys so much. They're listed right over here. And special thank you to our sponsor, Train World. I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe and happy railroading.
This video is brought to you with support from my patrons on Patreon. You can join my Patreon community for exclusive content. You can join for a monthly contribution of $1, $2, and the all-new $5 engineer level, which includes an exclusive digital model of the month that you can download and print yourself. A link to my Patreon page is in the description below. Your brake wheel. You got your brake wheel right here. Everything from a reefer that you can buy for $90, not $90. You cannot, do not buy this one for $90. You are getting ripped off.